I'm singing in the rain, just singing.
Initial reaction was overwhelming, as it's a traditional musical theatre show. So it's not your current sort of West End or Broadway show that is there and up in lights at the moment, and it's just beautiful to bring something that was so live, so happy, especially from the audience reaction, to put on at the prestigious Gaiety Theatre. And we closed on just under 10,000 people that saw the show, which is phenomenal on a 14 show run that hasn't had the title of Les Mis or Miss Saigon or so
Phantom of the Opera, that sort of thing.
Yeah, which is great. So it just proves that traditional theatre can still work. And I think yes, okay, we did achieve the Rain on stage, which was phenomenal. But I have to say, I think the show itself held its own outside of that spectacular viewing.
Of course, I couldn't not ask about the Rain. How was it working with that? Did it come with its problems for the cast?
Not at all. No. Unbelievable. Water sculptures. They are the professional coup of how it rains. Basically, they basically work in Europe and the States, and they loved coming to the island. They spent 5 days with us. We crewed up our stage manager, David Walton, best known as Wally, and he went through all the examinations on how to use it, because obviously the water had to be treated. It wasn't reused, it was filled up every time with all the sentiments of what minerals needed to go into it to make it happen, and also it had to be warm. So for the leading man, Don Lockwood, Danny, and then the crew that came on with him, it was 75 degrees water were coming down, heat for them on there, with the heat of the Gaiety Theatre as well, and also for the company at the end that got to do the sort of hip hop version and their love of it. So it went down a storm.
It was really interesting, and from watching the show, I think it was just a great use of the space more than anything in the theatre, because I haven't seen anything like that for a while.
No, so
or if at all.
I think filming wise, there's been hidden pastures within the Gaiety in the last 25 years. And we had the option to try something different, to open up the Gaiety. So basically, it was immensely difficult for cast and crew, because it didn't matter where they were on offstage, they were always visual. The orchestra, for instance, I should say the band in this stage, they absolutely adored being up there. I'm not saying that the orchestra pit is an unpleasant place to be, but for them to be open-aired, to be able to see, they had the time of their lives. They were clicked. They were really clicked, and that actually made it more of a company in whole, because it just wasn't the company on stage. It was the entire company to be seen. So you wouldn't know who was wigging, who was dressing. They all were part of what was going on. And I won't lie to you, it was a bit Spaghetti Junction backstage when we first started the technical rehearsal period. But by goodness, did they put it together?
Absolutely. And you mentioned Danny. Danny and Cosmo both came in. Sorry, Danny and Cosmo. Danny and Josh playing the two leading guys. They came in from the UK, didn't they?
So Josh and Jake performed in Chichity Bang Bang last year. So they were first year students at the prestigious Arts Educational College. We've been using arts educational students over the last 5 years now. So they've finished their second year, and they're now going into their third year. Obviously, Josh stormed the part of Cosmo, really held his own. He's fabulous. Hidden secrets that none of us knew, how talented the boy was, which was lovely to see, because the previous year he respected his third year students at the time and did his job well. Well, this year he held his own. And obviously, just the whole coup of bringing Danny Becker, it was pure luck that he just finished a 3-year sit in Aladdin within the West End as first cover. He was on more than he was off, and then had a little break before he went off to the Lights of Piazza, which he's going to be touring in America in, and we just managed to fit him in that break to come in with us. And it definitely builds the level of online and on-island talent. It gives them an opportunity, and my goodness, do they rise to the occasion as well, which that tap dancing on that stage was phenomenal. I know I've probably said phenomenal 4 or 5 times in this brief interview with you, but what would you say? You could hear the click. You could hear that company together. They were on it. There wasn't one click out step. And people saying, "Oh, was it recorded backstage? Were the band live? Everything you saw on that stage was completely live."
And I think that's part of what made it such a special show, don't you?
Yeah, and do you know, it's funny. I haven't performed on stage properly for a few years now. It's difficult to take two sides of it, and the production team side of it is such an honour and such a treasure to get to understand how everything works to put a company together. People don't know that you've got the wardrobe ladies. They're sewing till 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning to make things happen, to achieve. The set designers, everything with it. It's a massive coup. The front of house ladies, the first ladies you see when you come to the theatre, with their Singin In The Rain t-shirts on, with the programmes in hand, they're the first people the audience see, and it's so important that they see that right to the end. And yeah, it's sort of, without being a bit philosophical, it's made me fall in love with musical theatre again. The show was just so lovely.
It's a community, isn't it?
Absolutely. And I'm sitting here with you now, and wasn't that long ago when you were a younger boy in a Taylorian production.
Yeah, the Wizard of Oz myself, the Munchkin.
And now you're growing into a young man, and the lovely thing that we see is there's a new generation always coming through, and long may that continue.